Many blessings to you, beloveds. How are you today? I hope that you guys are doing really well. It is about 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in New York on Thursday. I wasn't planning to pop in, and this is a little bit of a special share. I had a phone call from one of my beloveds today, very upset and very emotional actually about the events that are taking place in the Amazon. And of course, collectively, we are all feeling, of course, the pain and just the devastation, the sadness of what is occurring on the earth, and the beautiful sacredness of that land. And it was just such a profound conversation, exchange of her feeling, like this incredible sacred land is being affected, losing her strength, and why even bother to go on. In other words, this beautiful, majestic, sacred place is not here, and it's helping so many, and of course the medicinal beauty that comes from there. I'm just really finding a very hard time to reconcile with it all. Of course, this beloved happens to be a womb, what I call a womb vessel, and that in itself could be a conversation or a show. We all come from Mother Earth, so we are all womb vessels, and we're all shamans, and yet for the sake of expression and or to fulfill our life's calling and mission here, we don't always all vibrate from the same chakra, even though ultimately all our chakras should be vibrating. But what I mean by that, some of us are very rooted, very anchored, some of us are very third eye based, some of us are very heart based, and some of us are very womb based. And when we happen to be a womb vessel, we're very, very drawn and connected to Mother Earth. We usually feel any impact that in transition that the Mother Earth is experiencing. We tend to be extremely nurturing and caring for others and mother others. I happen to be a womb vessel myself, and so I really was able to immediately resonate with her womb pain and her feeling of weakness, being so close to the Mother Earth as the mother is going through this transition. And so as I searched to give her some words of comfort or of guidance to my understanding of being an observer, a shaman myself, she was asking, like, why is this happening? And I found myself sharing, and then she became the inspiration to say, please do a YouTube video. So I hope that this serves whoever needs to hear it, or whoever it may bring some comfort to. But as she started to talk about this incredible medicine, which without a doubt there is some of the most unique medicinal shamanic herbs of nature, of purity, that come from that sacred place in the Amazon and its surroundings. And she said, how are we ever going to replace some of that? It's not going to be able to be replaced. And what I found myself guided to share is, well, maybe we need to be the replacement. Maybe we need to become the medicine. And as I shared that, I felt that deeply in my shamanic conviction of, as we ascend and we become more consciously aware of who we truly are and our divine birthright, and as we continue in that evolution and start to drop away the blockages of separation, of ill or toxic energies or emotions, guess what? We're not going to need as much medicine as we may have needed in, in the decades past, or even in the centuries past, because we know that there's a mind, body, soul component, and we also know that emotions are energy. And from a holistic spiritual perspective, illness is indicative of blockage, right? Of emotional stagnation. And so as we learn to master those emotions and learn how to master how to navigate them, we're never going to be the replacement, per se, of the beauty again and the sacredness. So I'm not saying, that, they're going to be replaced. However, everything happens in a divine state, whether we agree with, and God bless, of course, this is a share, so if this does not resonate, there is no obligation. But with that said, nothing happens out of divine order, and nothing happens by mistake. And so it's very interesting that as we are in the cusp, right, of these incredible emergence of Lion's Gate, of full moon, of blue moon, of all of these incredible energies that have been here to elevate us. We know that we've reached that 5D, 6D state for those that can carry it. Well, what's to say that, again, as we continue to evolve, we're gonna shed away all of these physical limitations that we needed to address, or we needed to administer to prior to this awareness, and prior to being able to hold these incredible higher energies. And so it is very sad, and I think it's important that we step in as shamans to hold the space and to honor the Mother Divine, the Earth Mother, as it goes through this purification, reminding ourselves that fire is transformative, transmutation, and purifying. And although it is a devastation that we may be losing some of the most sacred elements of Earth that have been a medicine to us, that the invitation is that for us to step in and to become the medicine, to become the shamans, to become the messengers, to become the voice, to become the teachers, and to be the reflection for the collective, so that as we are all growing, that we continue to be the pillars to invite the collective consciousness to continue to grow, to come back to the earth, to recognize its essence, to be a reflection of that, and again making that conscious collective stronger and stronger, so that perhaps one day in the near future we can more collectively be the medicine, and not need to address the physical body or ailments, because we've reached a plateau where we can't even avoid, having illnesses or maladies in the body, in the mind, or in the soul, because we've become awakened to a place where we can recognize that and implement tools, meditative tools, releasing tools, healing tools, purifying tools, earth tools, to be able to bring ourselves back into balance, right? I mentioned to my beloved that many times before a cosmic, critical shift, there have been many throughout our existence, but in order to comfort her, I gave an example of the Christ, and that's an in-depth subject, of course, but for many, Christ was, not that he was, but for many foresee him as a martyr that he had to sacrifice. And again, there's never a right or wrong in the sharings here, but I do not see him as a martyr or as a victim or as a sacrifice. I see him as an incredible, super powerhouse ascended master that came here to be an example. And he had full awareness of what his journey was going to be, but it needed to be impactful because it needed to create a shift. And in that sense, it wasn't a sacrifice, it was an accomplishment. And I also see that, and I say this very delicately, with no offense to anyone, and again, just my humble observation, but I also see that in worldly events like 9/11, and of course that was tragic. I have personal losses, friends, but if we look at it on a soul level, and if we have, if we hold the belief that we come here with soul contracts, and that's the way the soul evolves, how it grows, how it masters itself, how it self-realizes itself, then yeah, we do sign up for these crazy missions. And of course, if you ask the physical persona, we'll probably say, no, we didn't. I would never sign up for that. But if you would ask the soul consciousness on that cosmic realm and recognize that, yeah, you know what, it's going to be a tough mission, but it's going to have amazing consequences. It's going to have a critical mass shift, and it's going to be for the betterment and the awakening of the consciousness. I'm telling you, there's not a soul that's going to say on a cosmic level, no, I'm not going to do it. It's going to say, where do I sign up? You know, because on a soul level, we have the awareness that this is just an experience, and that this is not by any means who we truly are. It doesn't end when this ends. You know, this is just but a little molecule of all that we can imagine that we are, and that we will do it again, or we will do it in other cosmic galaxies, or we will create our own creation, you know, or we may do all the above. And so, yeah, it's really hard. You know, it's not to say that we shouldn't have compassion. It doesn't mean that we don't experience the emotional impact. But as the conscious shaman observer, which is the greatest stance that a shaman can take, is to be the observer and to see how the interconnection of things and how the web of situations and circumstances are webbing yet a greater net, you know, for a greater cause or a greater shift. Then we have no choice but to honor, to step in reverence, and to do our part in whatever way we can as shamans to bring healing to the earth, soothing, you know, when we could do that by stepping in and honoring the earth, stepping in and literally soothing it, sending it love, and just the way you would a feminine divine who's giving birth, right? You hold her hands, you console her, you sing to her, you know, you use your voice, you bring laughter. All of these are ways in which we can help soothe the earth as it's going through this transition and through this fire initiation in the Amazon. And we also step in to hold space and to be the space as it's being not replaced but held, you know. And so I hope and pray that that finds home. And Marcela, thank you for being the inspiration for this video. And you know, I felt inspired because we are talking about the earth and her shift, to pull a card or so from the Earth Magic deck. It's not a deck that I use usually for public readings, but for personal ones. But I don't know, I just kind of felt that, right? You could pull a card out. And so, We send a beautiful exhale of soothing energy to the Mother Earth and to all those who are feeling the transition of the experience that is taking place all around the world, by the way, all around the world. And we call upon the guides to give us some guidance. Synergy, the card's synergy. A remembrance that everything's always flowing, always connected. That, again, it brings me to what I just said, you know, where the mother is going through a purification, then how can we soothe that? And to know that we are eternally plugged in, connected by an umbilical cord to the Mother Earth. And so how can we soothe Mother Earth right now? Can we go out and have, you know, a shamanic ceremony? Can we bring the tribes together and sing, do an invocation, drumming? Can we play the flute? Can we just sit next to a tree, put our hands on the soil, and just send her our unconditional love and support, open our hearts, and send that wave of energy, right? We definitely can, and this energy is the reminder that we are connected. I feel like one more. Submerged, the iceberg. I feel transition here. I feel that I feel movement in this card. It's interesting, it says iceberg, but I feel transmutation, you know, like the alchemist stone, you know. It's going through a process. There's something evolving out of this, something greater, and we just need to really hold the space for that. And of course, what happens to the Mother Earth also happens to us. So we are going through a purification by virtue of the fact that the Mother Earth is, and something greater is emerging, is going to emerge as a result of that. And one more. Oh my goodness, and if I want more, Gaia, nurturing. Absolutely. And there it is, the validation. And look at this card, it's so beautiful, right? And it almost does look like some kind of intense, like fire energy here, right? Let's nurture the Mother Earth. Let's be there for her as she has been there for us. And the best way we can do that is to be nurturing to the earth, nurturing to the aspects of us, to humanity, to every situation, every circumstance, to come from a place of understanding, of nurturing, and of love, right? Yes. I hope that those cards brought some messages. I hope that this video brought some comfort or understanding on whatever it needed to bring to you. I send you beautiful, angelic, and soft, delicious blessings from the elements, from the animal kingdom, from Mother Earth herself. Stay blessed, and remember that you are the medicine, yes? And so step in and become the medicine. Very important for all those shamans to step out and do their incredible work. And of course, I teach you shamanic apprenticeships here. This is the time to step in if you've been inspired to. We need to build an army of shamans, yes? Always leave you with my love, with my light, and with my peace. Love you. Bye-bye.